my beautiful sister, as we come to the end of the season, I just want to take a moment to reflect on not just what we learned, but on the journey itself, because healing isn't just something that happened once and we move on from it. It's a ongoing process. It's a journey that unfolds in layers. Each step, each realization, each shift is a perspective as we brought you closer to yourself. And what healing really is about is not about the profession. It's not about getting over what happened. It's about learning yourself, understanding yourself, and choosing yourself again and again. Over this season, we talked about the foundation of healing, the importance of safety, breaking old habits, reconnecting with yourself, and fighting stabilization. Now, as we close out this chapter, I want to bring it all together to remind you of how far you came and help you see where you are going next. Because healing isn't about reaching some final destination, it's about who you are becoming along the way. So today we're reflecting on the key lessons from the season, the shifts that you made, and how to keep building on the progress you already started. Because no matter where you are in this journey, you are walking it together. But before we dive into that, I want to welcome back all my own listeners and those who are new here. Hey, I'm so happy that you are here today. I am your host here at Sister Love Podcast, and my name is Rose, and I am just one woman with one voice healing and helping other women heal. This is a space where we help women feel safe in their healing journey, love themselves, and create generational healing. What? Generational healing. So if you've been searching for a sisterhood that's judge-free, supportive, and real, you are in the right place. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so that you never miss an episode of a Sister Love podcast. And oh yeah, don't forget to join our Facebook group called Sister Let's Heal Together, where we take these conversations deeper and support each other beyond this podcast. Welcome to A Sister's Love, the podcast that helps women who are healing by having those deep conversations, giving practical advice and words of encouragement. Come on, let's talk about it. Healing is about learning how to live with what you've been through without letting it control you. Some days that's going to feel easy, right? You're going to wake up, you're going to feel more present, more aware, more capable, and you'll notice yourself responding to things differently. Maybe you don't immediately shut down in a conversation. Maybe you actually express what you need, right? Maybe you'll stop over apologizing, right? And then there are days where everything feels like it's too much. You'll catch yourself reacting in old ways. You'll feel emotions that you thought you already processed. You might even start wondering if you ever even made any progress at all. That's where a lot of people get stuck, right? We think that healing is supposed to be this straight path where once you work on it, you'll never struggle in that area again. But that's not how it works. Healing is learning how to support yourself through the setbacks. It's not about never feeling triggered or never getting overwhelmed, never having a bad day. It's about having the tools to not let those moments take you all the way back to who you used to be, right? And that's why foundational healing is necessary. It's necessary. You do not have a foundation in place, you will always feel like you're on an uphill battle. You're keep pushing forward. But every time something difficult happens, you'll find yourself back in the same place. So let's take a moment to recap what foundational healing actually looks like, because it's about creating the right conditions so that you can actually move forward without constantly being pulled back. At its core, foundational healing is built on three things: creating safety, building stability, and reconnecting with yourself. Let's break these down into ways that make sense, right? So creating safety is the first step, because without it, nothing else will work. If your mind and body does not feel safe, you will resist healing in every part. You might think that you're making progress, but the moment you feel exposed or vulnerable, you'll shut down, avoid, or self-sabotage. So what does safety actually mean? Safety isn't just about being physically safe or out of danger. It's about being secure enough to exist without constantly being angry or on guard. It means emotional safety, knowing that you can feel your emotions without fear or punishment or abandonment or rejection. Mental safety, trusting your own thoughts and perspective without constantly questioning or invalidating yourself. Physical safety, feeling secure in your body, your environment, in a space where you can move through daily. Relational safety, being around people who respect your boundaries and make you feel seen, not drained. What does a lack of safety look like? Always feeling tense, like something bad is about to happen, right? Struggling to open up to people because you're afraid that they'll hurt you, avoiding deep emotions because you feel they will overwhelm or destroy you. Being in environments or relationships where you feel on edge, silent, or unimportant. What does creating safety actually look like on a day-to-day life? Learning what triggered you, a sense of unsafety, avoiding toxic spaces, people, and developing self-soothing techniques so that you don't have to rely on other people to calm you down. Setting boundaries that reinforce emotions and mental safety, creating a safe space at home where you feel comfortable and decompress and being yourself. Until safety is established, healing feels like a fight instead of a process. This is why we start here, so that healing does not feel like a war with yourself, but a journey you're ready for. Now, two, building stabilization. Safety is what allows you to start healing, but stabilization is what helps you stay there. What is stabilization? Stabilization is a routine, a habit, a tool that helps you hold on to the progress instead of constantly restarting. It's what stops healing from feeling like it's emotionally exhausting or a roller coaster. What does the lack of stabilization look like? Feeling like you're always starting over, one step forward, five steps back. Feeling grounded one day and completely spiraling the next day. Relying on movement instead of building habits that off track. Getting overwhelmed and shutting down when life getting stressful. What does building stabilization look like? Having daily grounding routines and practices like journaling, meditation, movement to keep you regulated. Creating predictability in your routine that makes you feel secure. Knowing that your triggers have coping strategies placed when they come up. Practicing emotional regulation so that difficult emotions do not feel like they consume you. Stability means that when something goes wrong, you don't spiral back into survival mode. You have the structure and the routines that keep you on the right path, right? Now, number three, reconnecting with yourself. Healing isn't just about releasing pain, it's about rediscovering who you are beyond your trauma, right? What does this connection look like? Struggling to know what you actually want or need, feeling like you're going through the motions instead of truly living, not recognizing yourself in the mirror or feeling numb to your own emotions, feeling like you're constantly chasing validation from others instead of trusting your own self. What does reconnection with yourself look like? Making intentional decisions for yourself instead of operating on autopilot, rebuilding self trust by following your thoughts or promises that you made to yourself, developing self awareness, noticing how you feel, what you need, and what actually brings you peace, loving yourself intentionally, not waiting until you feel like it's actually time. Have patient respect for yourself. Reconnection isn't about becoming someone new. It's about showing up for yourself in the way that you never had before. It's about learning how to trust, love, and support yourself, not just on the good days, but on the hard ones too, right? Bringing it all together, safety, stabilization, and reconnection. These are the building blocks for foundational healing. Without them, healing feels impossible. But when you prioritize these steps, healing no longer feels like a constant struggle. It becomes something that you can sustain. If you do not have safety, you'll never let yourself heal. If you do not have stabilization, you'll constantly feel like you're starting over. If you do not reconnect with yourself, you'll always feel lost, even when things are going well. This is the foundation, not just for healing, but for life, where you do not just survive, but actually live. So now that we broke down what foundational healing looks like, let's talk about one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my own journey. Healing was never meant to be done alone. One of the hardest parts of healing is how lonely it can feel. Even when you're surrounded by people, there's a sense that no one truly understands what you're going through. And if you spend your suffering in silence, keeping your pain to yourself might feel like the only option. For a long time, I thought that healing was something that I had to do alone. If I could just fix myself, right? Then I wouldn't have to depend on anyone else. Because depending on people that never feel safe to me, I have been let down so many times. So I convinced myself that I need no support, that I could figure it out all on my own. And that's where I got everything wrong, right? Because healing is not something that you do in isolation. It's something that you practice in relationships. Trauma is relational. It happened in connection with others, right? Whether it was neglect, betrayal, abandonment, or harm from the person who was supposed to love you and protect you. So if trauma happened in relationship, why do you think that healing can happen without them? It makes sense why you want to isolate yourself, right? When you've been hurt, your instinct is to protect yourself, right? To keep people at a distance so that they don't hurt you again. And in the beginning, that might be necessary. Maybe you need to remove yourself from toxic situations or step away from people who do not respect your boundaries. But at some point, isolation stops becoming protection and start becoming a prison. Here's what I mean by that. If you're alone, no one can disappoint you, but no one also can show up for you either. If you do not open up, no one can hurt you, but no one can also truly know who you are. If you avoid relationship, you won't be triggered, but you won't have an opportunity to practice the healing that you've been working so hard for. Because healing isn't just about understanding yourself, it's about learning how to exist in the world again. You can work on self-trust alone, but real trust comes when you have to trust someone else. You can practice setting boundaries in theory, but you won't know if you can hold on to that until someone challenged them, right? You can learn emotional regulation, but until you are in a situation that triggers you, you won't know if you can actually apply what you learn. That is why community is essential. We weren't meant to heal alone. We need safe spaces where we can share, process, and be support, where we don't have to carry everything by ourselves. So I want you to ask yourself a question. Am I isolating myself out of self-protection, or am I genuinely creating a space to heal? There's a difference between taking time for yourself and using isolation as a shield. Which one are you doing? Another question is, what relationships in your life feel safe, and how can you lean into them more? Not everyone is unsafe. Who in your life has shown up for you? Who has made you feel seen? Another question, do I allow myself to receive support, or do I convince myself that I had to do everything alone? Healing doesn't mean being self-sufficient in everything. Do you let people help you, or do you push through everything and do everything by yourself? Number 4, how do I respond when someone genuinely cares for me? Do I embrace it, or do I reject it? Sometimes we crave connection, but when we get it, we don't trust it. What is your patterns? What is one small step that I can take to rebuild trust in a relationship? It doesn't have to be this big thing. Maybe it's responding to a text, being honest about how you feel, or open up just a little bit more. What is your next step? And if you haven't yet, that's okay. We can start today. I want you to know that you don't have to do this alone. I'm your sister to love, and I'm here for you. I see you, I hear you, and I bid you. And no matter where you are in your healing, you are not alone so far. And I'm here for you. And I want you to start with me today. Start with trusting me. Start with open up to me, allowing me in. This could be the start of you just building trust with other people.
Hey, beautiful. Let's take a quick break and let's talk about something I think might help you right now. There was a point in my healing journey where I had to be real with myself. What I was doing wasn't working. I felt emotionally off balance. I kept hitting the same wall. No matter what I tried, I felt stuck. And when I finally sat with it, I realized I didn't feel safe. Not in my body, not in my emotions, and not even within myself. That's when everything shifted because I finally understood that the lack of safety was the reason I couldn't move forward. And if you feel that way, like something is missing in your healing, I want to introduce to you my workbook collection, Healing a Survivor. It is built around my 3-step framework called Safe With Me, and it breaks it into micro steps to help you create safety, find stabilization, and reconnect with yourself. If you're in a place where nothing is working and you know something is missing, I want you to give my collection a try. Click the link in my show notes.
So now that we talked about what healing really looks like, the ups, the downs, the why support is so important, let's talk about what's next. Because healing doesn't just stop here. The progress you made from this point forward depends on what you do with everything you learned, right? Maybe this season helped you recognize your patterns, your triggers, or the areas where you still need to build safety. But healing isn't just about understanding, it's about actions. So how do we take what we learned and actually apply it to our life? Let's get into that. Healing doesn't stop just because the season is ending. The work continues, and how you approach it will determine the progress you make. It's not about having all the answers. It's about showing up for yourself in the small, meaningful ways over and over again. As we close the season, I want to talk about what comes next, because healing isn't just about understanding yourself. It's about making the decisions every day to keep moving forward, even when it's uncomfortable, right? So let's talk about what that looks like. Building a support system that feels safe and reliable. Healing was never meant to be done alone. And I know that it can be hard to accept it, especially if life has taught you that people are unreliable, unsafe, and you have to carry everything on your own, right? Many of us grew up learning that our pain was our problem, that we had to deal with it alone, that asking for help was weak, that needing support meant that we were a burden. But none of that is true. If relationship is where you got hurt, then relationship is also will help you heal, because the only way to unlearn the pain it has taught you is to experience something different. That doesn't mean that you have to trust just anyone. It means that intentionally choosing people who support your growth, people who respect your boundaries, who listen without judgment, who shows up for you in ways that feel safe. So ask yourself these questions. Who in my life makes me feel safe to be myself? Where can I go to be supported in my healing? Who do I need to step back from because they make me feel unseen or unheard? If you do not have the space yet, that's okay. That's exactly why I created this community, Sister Let's Heal Together, my Facebook group, so that you don't have to do this alone. Number 2, using the right tools. Healing happens when you apply what you learned. Understanding your triggers, your trauma, and your patterns is important, but knowing alone isn't enough. Healing only happens when you start applying what we learned in our day-to-day life. That means noticing when you're about to slip back into these survival instincts, using the tools to ground yourself instead, setting boundaries even when it feels uncomfortable because you know it's necessary, challenging the thoughts that tells you that you are not enough and that you cannot heal, recognizing when your body is overwhelmed and actually listening to what it needs. Healing is not just about reflection, it's about action. It's about making small but intentional choices that reinforce your growth every single day. That's why I created Healing the Survivor, a trauma recovery conference, because I know how hard it can be to bridge the gap between knowing what you need and actually doing it. These tools was designed to help make the progress a lot easier so that you can have the support you need when you need it. Make your healing an intentional part of your healing every day, right? Healing doesn't just happen when you sit down and reflect and write in your journal and have those deep, deep conversations. It happens every day, every moment, one choice at a time. And you have to keep choosing it over and over. The key to that is intentional. For so long, we lived on autopilot, reacting instead of choosing, surviving instead of living. We're going through the motions without even realizing how much we disconnected from ourselves in the process, right? But reconnecting with yourself means being intentional, mean being conscious about the choices to support that you want in your life. That might look like being mindful of the way that you talk to yourself. Are you tearing yourself down, or are you speaking to yourself with kindness? Choosing rest without guilt. Are you allowing yourself to slow down when you need to, or are you still pushing through exhaustion because you feel like you have to? Saying no without over explaining. Are you prioritizing your needs, or are you still afraid of disappointing people? Celebrating your progress, even when it's small. Are you acknowledging how far you came, or are you focused on what you have left? Every action, every choice, every habit, all adds up. You don't have to change your entire life overnight, but you do have to start showing up for yourself with intention. Because the only way to create lasting healing is to make it a part of who you are, not just something that you do when you have time. Sis, I need you to recognize something. You've been doing the work, right? You sat with the hard truth, reflected on the things that many people spend a lifetime running from, and open yourself up to healing. That is no small thing, right? So let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate you. I know healing can feel slow. I know there are days where it feels like you're not making progress, but I need you to hear me on this. You are not where you started. You are showing up for yourself in ways that many never have before, and you are breaking cycles, questioning patterns, and learning to care for yourself differently. And that's what matters. We've been through a lot this season. We talked about the foundation of healing, how to feel safe again, how to stabilize, and how to reconnect with who we truly are. So what's next? Next season, we're talking about healing out loud, what it means to find your voice, to be seen, to be heard, how to hide it behind your pain. We're walking into the versions that does not shrink, does not silence herself, and does not run from her story. We're embracing our truth. We're going to talk about how to share your story without shame, how to stop dimming your light so that you can make others feel comfortable, and how to finally show up for your own damn self unapologetically, okay? Because sis, your story matters and your voice matters. And this next season is all about helping you own that. So make sure that you're subscribed, because trust me, you do not want to miss this next chapter. And if you're ready to keep doing the work, to keep showing up for yourself, I have something that's going to support you every step of the way. And if you're ready to start doing the work now, if you're looking for the tools and guides and the roadmap to support healing, I have something for you also. And it's called Healing the Survivor, a trauma recovery compass. I created this collection to help you break survival patterns, regulate your emotions, and reconnect with yourself in a way that feels safe and sustainable. This isn't just another set of self-help tools. It's a roadmap designed to walk you through the foundational steps of healing so that you don't have to feel lost, overwhelmed, or stuck in survival mode anymore. So what's inside? You'll get access to the complete healing collection, Escape in Survival Mode, the first step to healing. Help you recognize survival mode and transition into healing, right? Teach you how to create intentional and external safety so that you can stop feeling stuck. Trauma imprint on your emotions. A guide that guides you through understanding how trauma has shaped your emotions and how you react. Offer you strategies for emotional regulation, self-awareness, and processing deep emotional wounds. Trauma coping compass flashcards is also included. A deck of practical, easy-to-use coping strategies for grounding, self-soothing, and emotional regulation. Includes mindful techniques, movement-based strategies, and creative expression exercises. And the next book is Emotional Fog, Navigating Your Emotions Through Trauma Flashcards. It helps you to understand, identify different emotions linked to trauma. Provide insights on how trauma alter your emotions, response, and offer healthy ways to express those emotions. And why is this collection so good for you? Because healing isn't about knowing what to do. It's about having the right support tools and structure to actually implement the work in a way that feels doable and sustainable. This is the collection isn't just about a set of resources, it's a companion. It helps you on your journey and it reminds you that you do not have to navigate this alone. Every tool, every page, every strategy was created with you in mind to support you, to ground you, to help you control your healing. A personal thank you so that you can close this season, so that I can take a moment to acknowledge you and say, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for trusting me, for your time, your energy, and allowing me to be part of your healing journey. This isn't just a podcast, it's a sisterhood, and I am so honored to be part of it and be on it with you. If the season has helped you in any way, I would love to hear from you. Come share your thoughts in the Facebook group, Sister Let's Heal Together, or DM me. And I want to say, I am so proud of you. Signing off, your sister to love. Bye. I'll see you next season.